So up to now, what we have done is that we've created our areas, then we went and created some values in those areas, and then we connected them together. At this point, you should know exactly the different things, the different categories in your life that you're gonna focus on, and then you're gonna figure out with your values what is important in those areas. But you might be wondering, what's the point of just creating values? And you're right, there is no point to it unless you're gonna execute and go and work towards those values. That's why we have goals. And that's the next level up. If you're new here, we're building a system in Notion on how to organize and optimize your life. This is part 2 in the series. So if you're new, go and watch part 1, which I will link up here, that gives you an overview of things that this system is capable of. Today, we're particularly talking about the areas, values, and goals section. These 3 sections each have a single database in them, and this should tell you what big areas do you have in your life, what is really important in those areas for you, which become your values. And then based on those values, I will teach you how you can set particular measurable goals that you can go and achieve in your next quarter or year or whatever. So without further ado, let's get into it. So welcome back to part 2. Let's not waste any time and jump right in. As I said, we're talking about areas, values, and goals today, and we're actually going to build this together. So what we're going to do is I'm going to first show you what I've done myself, and then go in the template and do it with you. So you can right there and then pause the video and go fill up your database yourself so everything is set and ready to go. First things first, we're going to talk about areas. This is going to be quite easy, and I think it's quite straightforward. What you want to do is you want to make a list of the different areas in your life that you care about. Make sure these areas do not have an end date. You cannot make an area about a project that you're going to finish. It needs to be something that is constantly ongoing in your life and is something that you care about. So for example, your family, your relationship, your friends, traveling, hobbies, or anything else that you really care about is an area, is something that you're going to be working towards to improve. For instance, if in the back of your head you have the goal to travel a lot more, then the area of traveling should be on this list. The first thing you should do is to get a piece of paper, divide the paper into 2 sections, business and personal, and then literally just brain dump all the different areas that you care about. After you have that list, what we're going to do is we're going to come to the template that I also link in the description below. You're going to download it and you're going to come to the area section. As you see, I put an example business area and example personal area here. All you have to do is to click on new and then click on new area template. What this does is that it automatically pulls everything inside for you, and all you have to do now is to actually put the name of the area. So for example, let's say family, and then if you really want to jazz it up, you can also add a cover photo and an icon to it. But basically what this actually just did is that it pulled every single information about that area from your library, from your resources, from your tasks, from your projects, goals, and values, all into this single page automatically. This is done with using something called self-referential filters, and what it does is that it creates views of different databases that you have in your whole system and then filters them by the specific area that you just created. Luckily for you, this is all set up through the template, so you don't need to do anything more. All you need to do is to just literally repeat this step for all of your areas in your personal section and in your business section. So to give you an example of what a self-referential filter looks like, I'm going to show you one of the areas that I have. Let's say, for example, YouTube, which is an area in my business section. If I open this, you can see that throughout the time that I've been using this system, I've collected a lot of things. I've done projects in this area. I've completed more than 25 tasks in this area. I have multiple goals and values in this specific area. And the point of the self-referential filter that the template is giving you is that you can see every single thing that you have done in your life about that specific area in one place. And this is so powerful. So just imagine at any point in time you want to come back to the area of YouTube and see, okay, what have I done? Or maybe you're looking for a specific piece of information or trying to see what projects you have completed in this area, and all of this is done automatically for you with the template. So as you can see, all of the databases of my library, my resources, my tasks, projects, goals, and values that we talked about in the previous video are all pulled in here and filtered very nicely exactly for that specific area itself. So as you can see, I can see exactly what I need to do in that area because I can see the tasks there, or what projects I have there, or what goals or values I have, for example. And what we want to do with these areas is that we have a bird's eye view to our life and the different areas that we actually have. And then we can, at any point in time, go in that area and see all the things that we have captured, we have done, all the active projects, all the values and goals that we have in those areas at one glance. And if you don't see the value in that at this point, I totally get it, because you haven't used the system for a while. If you use system for a while, you will understand how important this is. It will give you such an insane amount of clarity as to what you're doing in that area in your life. So the next time someone comes and asks you, hey, what are you doing with your YouTube? You can brag about your progress by showing them this page. Anyway, don't worry too much about this. This is all already set up for you. So what you need to do now is to pause this video, go into area section of the template and start filling out all of your areas just like I have done here. But don't forget, when you create this page like that, you have to open it as a page and click on new area template so that the template that I've created gets populated and all those filtered databases that I just talked about actually get created here for you automatically. Now let's talk about values. What you want to do now is to define core values for the foreseeable future, let's say 5 years or less, that is ultimately going to make you happier in the specific areas that we just talked about. So for example, you just created an area called family. Now let's say you don't spend enough time with your family and one of your core values is to spend more time with them. So what you will do then, you will create a new value for that in the values database. So for example, you will write here, spend more hours per week with my family. But remember, the point of values is overarching themes and things that you feel are important in your life. They are not specific goals yet. That's why we have goals, which I will cover in a few minutes. But values are things that you inherently want to achieve. For example, for me, I would like to reunite with old friends and find friends that have similar passions to me. Another core value for me is to, for example, control my thoughts and feel less anxiety or anger or stress. And I can see exactly that is related to the area of mindset and stoicism. So what you should do now, you should pause this video and literally list all the values that you have. Just do a brain dump. It doesn't need to be very specific. Just write anything that you think will go, and you can later remove it or change it if you would like. After you have listed these values, what you're going to do now is to actually go and fill up the specific properties for it. So for example, when do you want to achieve this by? I'm 25 at the moment, so I've only put 30 and 40 here. But if you want to put any other age here, you can always type, for example, 45 and press enter. After that, what you're going to do is that you're going to connect this to the area that we just created. And that's super easy with this template. So what you have to do is just click once and then choose the area that relates to that. So spend more hours per week with my family obviously relates to the area of family. So all I have to do is to click this and I'm done. And just a note, right now you can see this related goals column is empty, and leave that empty. We will fill it up later. And by the way, what happens when you relate these two databases together is that you can see that specific value that you just created being filtered into your area automatically. So you can see exactly spend more time hours per week with my family, achieve it by 45. And the last edit was August 15th, which is when I'm shooting this video. The only other thing that you need to do at this point for this entry is to write what are the challenges that you think you might face when you want to achieve that value. This is optional. If you want to put it in, you can. If not, you can completely delete it by right-clicking here and clicking on delete. I really strongly recommend that you do use this because it gives you a clarity as to why that value is important and why it might be difficult to even achieve that value. A challenge for spending more time with your family would definitely be time, and for example, balancing work with family time. So for example, we can look at a value that I have, build an audience that loves to listen to you and connect with people from around the world. And the challenge is to produce content every single week. Challenge is to come up with ideas worth sharing. The final thing, the cherry on top, if you would like to do it or not, is that after you have created all these challenges, you can look at them again and you can see what is one thing, one word that is being repeated multiple times in all of these values and in all of these challenges. For me, that's consistency. That's why I put that as the word of the year, and that is something that I'm going to focus on improving this year in 2021. So up to now, what we have done is that we've created our areas, then we went and created some values in those areas, and then we connected them together. At this point, you should know exactly the different things, the different categories in your life that you're going to focus on, and then you're going to figure out with your values what is important in those areas. But you might be wondering, what's the point of just creating values? And you're right. There is no point to it unless you're going to execute and go and work towards those values. That's why we have goals. And that's the next level up. By the way, you should stop the video right now, go and fill up all your values and areas and then connect them together and then come back and we will continue. I'm pretty sure that anybody that has ever listened to any type of motivational speeches knows what goals are and why they should set goals and work towards those goals. The problem with these motivational speeches and with setting goals without a specific reason why you want to set those goals is that sometimes the goals that you set are actually not things that you really care about. You might think you do, but when you actually don't know all the different areas in your life, when you don't know all the different values that you have in those areas and what is important for you, setting goals randomly is just so difficult. On top of that, a lot of people really don't know how to set goals. Values are things that we set very vaguely, very big things that are emotionally attached to us, whereas goals need to be very, very logical and very specific and measurable so that we can work towards them. And when we achieve them, we can clearly see that we have achieved that goal and we have gotten the results that we were after. A very popular thing about setting goals is setting SMART goals, which stands for specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-based. I don't really want to get too deep into this, but that is exactly what we're going to do anyway. So in our goals database, what we're going to do first is we're going to look at the list of values that we just created, and then for each value set 1, 2, or 3 goals. At this point in time, don't worry about when you're going to achieve them and how you're going to achieve them. Just write it all down on a piece of paper or in the template that I've given to you. So for example, for spending more hours per week with my family, what you're going to do is that you're going to create a goal for it. And that will be something very specific and very, very measurable. For example, you can say spend 1 hour after work with my family every single day. This is something very measurable. You know, if you haven't spent that hour, then what you can do is you can come and relate it to the value that you just created, and the value was spend more hours per week with family, and then you can connect it to the area of family. Obviously, these are super easy to do. Just click on the ones you have, and by the way, as you see, it automatically also populates here. Related projects right now, leave that empty. As I said, we will cover this in the next video. And then what you can do is you can come and actually choose when do you want to actually focus on doing this goal. I wouldn't recommend doing this until you have all of your goals listed, and then you can go and see which ones are really important to you and prioritize them based on time. But anyway, you can always choose the quarter and then the year that you want to, for example, focus on it. To make this easier for you, let's look at some of the goals I have. Based on all of my values, what I've created is I've created a list of goals, as you can see here, some for quarter 3, some for quarter 4, and some I don't even know when I'm going to do them, but they're things that I might do at some point in time. So for example, we saw that one of my values was to build an audience that loves to listen to me and connect with people from around the world. And that was related to the area of YouTube. Now let's look at what the goal looks like for that specific value in the area of YouTube. So as you can see, the goal is upload 12 videos on YouTube and build an audience so you have people to share your thoughts with. This is set for quarter 3, July, August, September of 2021, and I'm currently working on it. If any of your goals are not in the current quarter that you're in, you should switch this status to up next, and you have not planned it at all, you should just switch it to not planned and it will move to the bottom of the list. Obviously, I'm working on this right now, so I'm going to switch it to working on it, and then what I can do is that I can always come to the list of values I have and then actually connect it to that specific value, and I'm done. Another thing that I'm actually experimenting with at the moment is to put the specific number that I'm working towards as a goal and the number that I've completed as a completed column, and then see a progress bar. This is a nice to have, so I've not actually included it in the template. I will also put the link as to how you can do this yourself. So what we can see is that in the area of YouTube, I care about building an audience. Now I can set a goal for that to work towards building this audience, towards this core value by a specific measurable goal of uploading 12 videos in the next 3 months or in Q3 of 2021. And then I can exactly count the number of videos I uploaded and see if I'm working towards that or not. But what goals do is that they give you very, very specific focuses for that quarter. So you not only have a bird's eye view to your life with your values and your areas, but you also have a more detailed view to your life using your goals. And then what you can do is for all the goals that you're actually working on in that quarter, all the active goals, you can go and create projects for, which we will cover in the next video. But then what you can do is that you can create the focus of the quarter. You can look at all the goals that you have in that quarter, and then you can make some general themes about it. For example, health, relationship, travel, and business. These are the things I'm focusing on this quarter. We can also cover another one. For example, in the area of stoicism and mindset, one of my core values was to control my thoughts, feel less anxious and anger, feel more fulfilled, and constantly learn new things. And for that, I've created a goal that's called write down what is the best thing that has happened to your day for the next 60 days straight. And I've been doing that for the last 30 days. So you can see I've 50% completed this goal, and it has genuinely helped me with this value as to feel less anxious and feeling more gratitude towards my day in general. Yeah, but that's about it, guys. What you need to do now is to go create your areas, go create some values based on those areas, and then go create some goals based on your values. In the next video from next week, what we're going to do, we're going to actually go and create projects and tasks, and we're going to start executing on those goals that we just created with everyday tasks and projects, so that we know we're working towards them in that quarter and we know we're going to achieve them. I hope this video gave you clarity as to how powerful this system can actually be and how you can actually create your areas, values, and goals. If you're enjoying this series so far, please leave a like and subscribe below, as this is part 2 of part 8 in this mini series, and I will continue to cover a lot of topics like this in the future as to how you can use this system now to then go create your own business or to do stuff on the side or to just live happier, more fulfilling lives. So that's about it, guys. I'll catch you in the next video. Peace.